Imagine being forced to surrender 35,000 decisions every day. This is precisely what happens as we increasingly delegate our choices to algorithms, safety protocols, and social conventions. By relinquishing decisions to external systems, we systematically strip spontaneity and authentic risk from our daily experiences. Nietzsche diagnosed our modern condition centuries before it fully manifested. His prescient warning that our pathological need for certainty would lead to cultural and personal stagnation. What he observed was a society transforming into philosophical invalids, afraid to embrace uncertainty. The Dionysian approach, embracing uncertainty rather than retreating from it, represents a necessary prescription for authentic existence, challenging our contemporary obsession with predictability. The Apollonian prison. Modern society's pathological need for certainty. Look around, and you'll see the scaffolding of certainty everywhere. Our modern society has meticulously engineered structures of predictability in every aspect of our lives, from algorithmic recommendations that anticipate our desires before we consciously form them, to elaborate career pathways that promise secure trajectories from education to retirement. This elaborate architecture of certainty appears, at first glance, to be the pinnacle of human achievement, a triumph over the chaotic forces that once governed our existence. Yet, beneath this veneer of order lies a profound philosophical problem that Nietzsche identified over a century ago. The foundations of our obsession with certainty can be traced back to Socratic rationalism, a pivotal historical moment when the Greek philosopher elevated logical reasoning and systematic knowledge above intuitive understanding. In The Birth of Tragedy, Nietzsche identified this as the juncture where excessive order began to dominate Western thought, fundamentally altering our relationship with existence. The Socratic elevation of reason and order, visible today in our metrics-driven society, diminished the vital Dionysian spirit that embraces life's inherent unpredictability. Our technological landscape exemplifies this Apollonian tendency. Consider how navigation applications calculate optimal routes, eliminating the possibility of discovering charming side streets or unexpected landmarks. These algorithmic systems promise efficiency while simultaneously constricting the bandwidth of human experience. Each digital recommendation narrows our exposure to novelty, transforming serendipitous discovery into an increasingly endangered phenomenon. This same drive for predictability extends seamlessly into our workplaces, where the Apollonian values manifest as standardized workflows and performance metrics. Take, for instance, corporate structures that reduce complex human contributions to numerical scores, or rigid project management methodologies that prescribe creativity within predetermined parameters. These systems function as modern extensions of Socratic rationalism, creating environments where genuine innovation withers under the weight of protocol, with workers confined within invisible psychological cubicles. Perhaps most concerning are the psychological implications of this retreat into predictability. Like birds raised in cages, we exist in a diminished state when our experiences lack novelty and challenge. Research indicates that excessive routine directly impacts neuroplasticity, the brain's fundamental capacity to adapt and evolve. This neurological stagnation manifests as diminished problem-solving capacity and reduced subjective well-being. The brain, paradoxically, requires some measure of chaos to maintain optimal function. Social norms further reinforce this Apollonian cage through pervasive pressure toward risk aversion. Contemporary messaging consistently privileges safety over exploration, security over possibility. These normative forces collectively shape individuals who instinctively retreat from uncertainty, the very element essential for authentic human experience. What Nietzsche recognized with remarkable prescience was that these structures of certainty, despite their promise of liberation from suffering, ultimately imprison the human spirit. In our algorithmic existence, we have constructed elaborate systems not as paths to flourishing, but as defensive barriers against existential anxiety. Those unable to embrace life's fundamental chaos become what Nietzsche termed philosophical invalids, existing but disconnected from the vital energy that makes life truly meaningful and creative. The Dionysian Antidote. Embracing chaos as the path to authentic existence. The philosophical invalid, trapped in a prison of his own making, must confront a paradoxical truth. The very uncertainty he so desperately avoids may be the essential ingredient for authentic existence. While our modern institutions have meticulously constructed bulwarks against unpredictability, something fundamental has been lost in this pursuit, namely what Nietzsche identified as the Dionysian spirit, a powerful counterbalance to Apollonian rigidity that embraces rather than flees from life's inherent chaos. How might we rediscover this vital force that offers liberation from our self-imposed constraints? The Dionysian spirit represents far more than mere spontaneity. It embodies a deeply emotional and ecstatic force characterized by chaos, creative destruction, and the dissolution of boundaries between individuals and the natural world. Unlike the isolating tendencies of Apollonian order, the Dionysian experience connects us to the fundamental unity of existence. Consider the difference between a meticulously manicured garden and an ancient forest. The former displays perfect order, but lacks the complex vitality and evolutionary wisdom of the latter. This tension between opposing forces once achieved beautiful synthesis in ancient Greek tragedy. Before Socratic thought altered Western civilization's trajectory, Greek tragedies balanced structured dramatic forms with ecstatic Dionysian energies, allowing audiences to confront existence's terrifying chaos while maintaining sufficient order. This equilibrium represented humanity's sophisticated response to life's contradictions, a response our modern sensibilities have largely forgotten. At the philosophical core of this Dionysian embrace lies Nietzsche's concept of amor fati, love of fate. This profound principle transforms our relationship with uncertainty into one of creative engagement. The philosophical question becomes not how to eliminate chaos, but how to dance with it, incorporating its essential vitality without being destroyed by it. Throughout history, individuals who embodied this principle achieved remarkable creative breakthroughs. Artists of the Romantic period deliberately cultivated states of emotional intensity that defied rational control, producing works of unprecedented originality. Einstein's scientific discoveries emerged not from methodical analysis alone, but from imaginative thought experiments transcending conventional boundaries. These moments of innovation arose precisely when creators abandoned excessive control, surrendering to the unpredictable forces of inspiration. The neurological evidence supporting this philosophical perspective is compelling. Research reveals that novel experiences and calculated risk-taking stimulate new neural pathways, significantly enhancing cognitive function. When our predictions fail and we must adapt, our brains undergo transformations that promote intellectual and emotional development. Conversely, eliminating uncertainty prevents the very neurological processes that facilitate growth and creativity. This understanding illuminates why our most meaningful experiences occur precisely when we abandon excessive control. The profound impact of falling in love, the transformative power of travel to unfamiliar cultures, or the satisfaction following successful navigation of unexpected challenges share a common element: surrendering to forces beyond complete understanding. Their intensity derives because of their unpredictability, not despite it. The philosophical implications are profound. Excessive order leads to what Nietzsche termed life denial, because it separates us from the fundamental creative destructive processes that constitute authentic existence. The philosophical invalid, in his desperate attempt to escape suffering and uncertainty, unwittingly cuts himself off from the very forces that make life meaningful. His existence becomes increasingly sterile, orderly but empty, safe but devoid of genuine vitality. Conclusion: as we stand at the threshold between order and chaos, Nietzsche challenges us to make a profound choice. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to birth a dancing star, he reminds us, not as mere poetry, but as a fundamental prescription for authentic existence. The philosophical invitation before us is not to eliminate uncertainty, but to cultivate the courage to engage with it creatively. In our contemporary landscape, where algorithms curate our experiences and predictive technologies shield us from spontaneity, deliberately reintroducing uncertainty becomes revolutionary. Like stepping from a cage of rigid certainty into a field of infinite possibilities, we reclaim our capacity for the full spectrum of human experience. The question remains, will you retreat into artificial certainties or embrace uncertainty's generative power? How might your daily routines be limiting your potential? Share your experiences in the comments below.